Coming up on Hoosier Sports Night, Indiana men's basketball continues to defend their home court with another impressive win over Oregon on Monday.
And women's tennis remains undefeated after taking down Virginia. This is Hoosier Sports Night.
Hello and welcome to Hoosier Sports Night. I'm Darren Watson.
And I'm Joelle Serbenta.
How are you feeling about this warm weather?
This weather is surely heating up, but you know what else is heating up?
The men's basketball team, that's what. Indiana men's basketball hosted Oregon on Monday night in what turned out to be another historic night for one of the best players in the Big Ten. Our Ian Plaskoff has more.
On a night where Indiana celebrated perfection, honoring its 1976 championship team, it also showed glimpses of perfection in a 92-74 domination of Oregon on Monday. One man led the charge all night long for the Hoosiers and made life easy for his teammates. That was Lamar Wilkerson.
Him going like that, it makes things really easy for everybody else too. But I think it started, when he hits one or two, gets it going, then it starts with a couple more play calls for him, and then he hits a couple more, and then at that point it's probably just get out of the way and let him cook.
Wilkerson missed his first 5 shots of the night. From then on, he made 13 of his 15 remaining shots from the field and finished with 41 points. It was his second game of 40-plus points this season, making him the first player to have multiple 40-plus point games in Assembly Hall since 1970. Wilkerson also opened up the floor for his teammates to succeed. Sam Alexis added 16 points on perfect shooting from the field. Tucker DeVries had 15, and Nick Dorn added 11 as well. With Wilkerson leading the charge, Indiana has found its stride at the perfect time here in February. After losing 4 in a row back in January, Indiana has now won 5 of its last 6. It's really starting to find its identity.
Basketball is just a game of runs. I just feel like, it's our run right now. You'd rather be playing your best basketball in March rather than, January. So we had a lot of things that we had to go back to the drawing board and fix, but that just opened our eyes and let us know that, hey, we got to be a lot better to play in this league and, to play, be able to get to March Madness.
The effort that they give every day, even during that losing streak, they never came to practice and hung their heads. They came to get to work the next day. They came to get better. They came to go win the next one, and that's all they really care about.
For IUSTV Sports, I'm Ian Plaskoff.
Indiana's next 2 games are no easy task. The Hoosiers will face 2 top 15 teams on the road, beginning with a trip to Champaign to take on number 8 Illinois on Sunday.
After starting the season 0-10 in Big Ten play, Indiana women's basketball looked to win its 3rd straight game on Sunday against Purdue in Assembly Hall. Our Grace Jeffer has more.
After a pair of wins in Big Ten conference play, Indiana women's basketball locked in for this rivalry game against Purdue. Winning 74-59, the Hoosiers have a newfound confidence that has kept them in Big Ten tournament conversation. What went right for Indiana? Shea Chesky. As the clear underdogs going into this game at Simon Scott Assembly Hall, there were some keys that had to go right for Indiana to put up a fight against the Boilermakers. And as the current leading scorer in the Big Ten, Chesky delivered. She scored 19 in the first half and finished with 29 points on 10 for 19 from the field, going a perfect 6 for 6 from the stripe. She also came up with 12 rebounds and 8 assists, nearly getting a triple-double.
Obviously feels great to be on the winning side of things. Yeah, I know we had it in us. I think right now we're gelling at a good time. I wish it was a little sooner, obviously, but it was a great team win.
Odessa Noyan also had herself a day, finishing with a double-double. She had 12 points on the night and collected 10 rebounds.
I thought Odessa was really good tonight. She's becoming more comfortable, at that 5 spot without Z being available.
But it wasn't just individual efforts that put the Hoosiers on top, it was a team success. The Hoosiers locked in on defense early. In the first, Purdue only shot 33% from the field. Going into halftime, Indiana had 23 rebounds to Purdue's 13. They finished with 47 total rebounds.
A lot of these outcomes have not been what we've wanted them to be, but we also haven't just thrown in the towel. I mean, we still are fighting every inch, still fighting, to get into the Big Ten tournament.
The Hoosiers now travel out west and open up their trip against USC on Thursday. For IUSTV Sports, I'm Grace Jeffer.
After the Hoosiers' 2-game road trip, they will play 2 of their final 3 games in Assembly Hall, looking to qualify for the Big Ten tournament.
With baseball season coming to start this week, head coach Jeff Mercer gives his thoughts on the upcoming home opener and season.
You know, you talk to the guys about it's a 56-game season, but they're each 1-game sprints, and so it's a long season, but they're broken up into single sprints. So that Tuesday is tremendously important. It's tremendously important for your team's growth, but it's also tremendously important for the long term. Look at your RPI and your wins are impacted tremendously on Tuesdays. And so you want to go out and play really well. You want to play clean and fundamental and play really well for those games while still growing the depth of your team.
Indiana baseball will head to North Carolina to take on the University of North Carolina in a weekend series, and then they will head back to Bloomington for their first home opener against Bradley on Tuesday at 4 p.m.
On Saturday afternoon, the 22nd ranked Indiana wrestling team went on the road and upset number 15 Wisconsin 30-9. The Hoosiers opened the duel with 8 consecutive individual match victories and what would become a statement victory against a ranked conference rival. The Badgers did not score a takedown until the 9th bout, evading the shutdown with wins at 197 and 285 pounds after the outcome was decided. Indiana's next test is set for Sunday afternoon against number 5 Nebraska.
Coming up after the break, we crown our Hoosier Highlight Athlete of the Week.
And go over Indiana softball's successful weekend out in Florida. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to Hoosier Sports Night.
Now joining us in studio for this week's Hoosier Highlight Athlete of the Week is our very own Jason Lee. Jason?
Thanks, Darion. This week's Hoosier Highlight Athlete of the Week goes to a guard on IU men's basketball team that put on a cinematic masterclass this past Monday and has consistently helped Indiana all season long. The Hoosiers have won 5 of their last 6, and that's thanks to this man. Lamar Wilkerson has put up phenomenal numbers dating back to January 23rd, averaging 28 points per game, which included an astounding 41 points Monday night against Oregon. Wilkerson is doing this while also shooting just under 40% from beyond the arc. Wilkerson is no stranger to dropping 40 pieces at Assembly Hall, even coming close Monday to breaking the single-game scoring record set by a great ball player himself. That's right, Lamar has now dropped over 40 points at the Hall twice, and both have come this year. The Hoosiers will look to keep it rolling, but they have 2 huge tests ahead against top 15 opponents in Illinois on Sunday and rival Purdue February 20th. I'm Jason Lee. Back to you guys at the desk.
Indiana softball kicked off their season this past weekend when they traveled to Boca Raton, Florida for the Paradise Classic. The Hoosiers went 4-1 over the tournament, including wins over Army and Ohio State. In their final 2 games of the weekend, the Hoosiers dominated, forcing 2 run rule victories against Delaware and Stonehill. Those wins came at the courtesy of 2 solid pitching performances, one of which was a first career win for sophomore Ella Trout. The Hoosiers next head west to Tempe, Arizona to compete in the Little Invitational.
Up in the Windy City of Chicago, the Indiana men's and women's team competed in the Windy City Invitational this past weekend with PRs and school records all across the board. Take a look. The Hoosiers had a strong start to their weekend, day 1 of the invite. In the men's race, Cameron Mullins set the stage as he won the 400-meter race, running a personal best of 47:30. Mullins' time tied with Alan Turner for 5th in school history. Day 2 rolled around and Lee Martin placed 5th in the high jump, jumping 2.8 meters, setting a personal best. Trey Lee Banks won his 200-meter race with a time of 20.91. To close the weekend, the men's 4x4 team placed 2nd overall with a season best of 3 minutes and 9 seconds. Now, on the women's side, Nola Somers Glenn ran in the 600-meter race, placing 1st with a time of 1 minute and 32 seconds, and that would be Indiana's first win of the day. Ava Olamaje also placed 1st in the 400-meter dash, running a personal best of 55.16, which now ranks 14th in the school record book. To close out the weekend, the women's 4x4 won their race with a time of 3 minutes and 38 seconds. Indiana track and field will be split this weekend for the Music City Challenge in Nashville, Tennessee, and the Valentine Invitational in Boston.
Following the 4-0 start to the season, Indiana women's tennis hosted West Virginia on Friday and Virginia Tech on Sunday. Our Jack Kapic has more.
The Indiana Hoosiers won both their games on the weekend, defeating West Virginia 6-1 on Friday and now defeating Virginia Tech 4-1. The wins were marked by incredible singles play, as the Hoosiers were able to win all but one singles point on the weekend. When I asked Coach Gabrielle Moore what led to this great singles play, she said that they all play for each other.
Fighting for each other. I think this team is like super close. They're not willing to give up anything for each other, of course for themselves, but definitely each other. And I think that's what helps on each court is that like they're all fighting for each other.
It's also brought the Hoosiers up to 6-0 for the first time since 2018. And when I asked Coach how she will continue this momentum next week on the road, she said that although it's been great to play at home this year, she looks forward to playing on the road.
It's always tough when you're on the road. It's been nice to be at home for the last couple of weekends. But we really are not going to change anything much, but just the perspective is the same. Our practice planning is the same. But for sure, going on the road, I think having that first match at home against Bellarmine is a good test before we get on the road with Louisville. But we show up the same, we try and get those wins on the road as much as possible.
The Indiana Hoosiers play 2 times next weekend, here at the IU Tennis Center on Friday against Bellarmine, and then on the road versus Louisville at Louisville on Sunday. I'm Jack Kappick with IUSTV Sports, signing off.
Indiana improves to 6-0 on the season and returns to action Friday, February 13th, hosting Bellarmine at 4 p.m. in Bloomington.
Now joining us for this week's Candy Stripe Calendar of the Week report is Dana Belmer. Dana?
Darian, Joelle, thanks guys. Indiana has another stacked weekend in athletics. Let's get right into it. Indiana men's and women's track teams will be split between the Music City Challenge in Nashville, Tennessee, and the Valentine Invitational in Boston, Massachusetts. Softball will finish the Littlewood Invitational in Tempe, Arizona, facing Nevada and Pacific before heading home. Baseball travels to Chapel Hill in North Carolina to play the number 11 Tar Heels over the course of 3 days. Game 1 will begin at 4 p.m. Friday afternoon. Women's tennis will host Bellarmine here in Bloomington on Friday and then travel to Louisville to play the Cardinals. Men's golf will kick off their spring season with some nice weather down in Gainesville, Florida for the Gator Invite on Saturday. Women's water polo will spend time in Ann Arbor, Michigan for the Midwest Invite, coming off of a break hoping to keep their number 8 ranking. Men's tennis will play the Memphis Tigers in Memphis, Tennessee on Sunday at 11 a.m., while wrestling will reside here in Bloomington, hosting the Nebraska Cornhuskers on Alumni Day in Wilkinson Hall. Viewers can watch on the Big Ten Network as the meet will begin at noon. Men's basketball will travel to Champaign, Illinois to play the number 8 Fighting Illini in what looks to be a great conference matchup on Sunday at 1 p.m. And lastly, to close out the weekend, women's basketball will play the number 2 UCLA Bruins out west, tip-off at 3 p.m. on Peacock. That's all I have for this week's Candy Stripe Calendar. Back to y'all at the desk.
Thanks, Dana. And that's our show for the week. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Be sure to follow us on Instagram and Twitter at IUSTV Sports to keep up with all the latest in IU athletics. For our production crew behind us, I'm Darian Watson.
And I'm Joelle Serventa. We'll see you next week.